Hello, I'm very excited to read your toes today and just a little bit of background to explain things so that this reading is really impactful for you and really helps you in your soul evolution. So, your left foot is your internal self, it's your connection with source, it is how you relate to yourself. And your right foot is everything outside of you, the way that you experience and move through life and the way others experience you. And then each of the toes has a different energy. We have a spirit path toe on the left foot and a life path toe on the right foot. And then the other toes have the same energy, but is internally or externally directed. We have communication and expression with the second toes, action with the third toes, relationship with self and others with the fourth toes, and prosperity and trust with the fifth toes. So when I look at your toes, the very first thing that I observe is the long second toe. You are a communicator, an expresser. Like, this ability to communicate and express is very important for you. And you feel okay doing that for yourself. Like, when you're by yourself, you feel confident and you have the ability to do that. But when you're with others, there is some blocked energy in here. And in fact, being able to express with others and in the presence of others is actually even more important for you than doing it yourself. And you can see that because the second toe is a little longer than this second toe. I'm just looking at your chart here. And where your Mercury is here in Scorpio. You're here to be a deep transformer of people. You are here to go to the depths of things and shine a light on it and communicate and express. So what are some of the deepest desires of your soul to express? What are some things that are out there in society where there's just something wrong, where a light needs to be shined on it? You are here to communicate that. You're extremely smart. You've got this midheaven going up here into Gemini. So you're thinking about things and you're a deep thinker. You also have a deep desire for things to be fair, for there to be justice, to experience equal relationships. So just a couple of points in your chart that show, and you just got all the Scorpio energy in the third house of communication and expression. So you see, you've got all this stuff, and this is all in Scorpio. This is all about very deep transformation, death and rebirth, and you're here to talk about it. You are here to talk about it. So Scorpio also rules taboo. So I'm going to invite you, as you gently massage these toes, they could both use it, especially this one, as you gently massage this toe. And the way that I recommend doing that is just putting the toe between your fingers and just rubbing across that toe. And just discovering, what do you really want to talk about? What is it that you're really here to talk about? You're here to talk about the hard things. You're here to talk about the things that people don't want to look at. Scorpio is like the deep trench in the ocean where the sun doesn't shine. And you're here to talk about these things. So I really invite you to meditate, especially as you're massaging that toe, or maybe you already know. So the question would be, what are the next steps for me to communicate this? I feel really strongly like getting a lot of energy here that this is part of your path and purpose with that midheaven, going back again to your chart here, going up to Gemini, the communicator. This is your your fame and reputation. This is how you will be known. And put that with all this Scorpio energy in the third house that Gemini rules. Yeah, it's not an easy path. If we think about people from the past that have shared things that have been revolutionary, things that have shined a light on the shadows, it hasn't been a safe thing to do. So you also have um, some generational patterns, past life patterns that subconsciously make you feel like it's not safe to do it. It's not safe to be out there. Interestingly, you also have your moon here in the 11th house, and that's about the collective. That's about, the masses, about humanity. You're here to shift humanity. And I feel that very, very strongly as I explain this to you. You are an absolute natural leader. This is your, I call it the Queen's Toe. This is your channel of leadership. Your life path toe, please, just because I said this, do not feel like, oh, your life path is like completely off. It's not completely off. It's actually, there are some adjustments that could be made, but you're taking the steps now so that you can fulfill that destiny. Now, one of the things that you can do is this toe is slightly twisted, looking to the past, which is interesting because your spirit path toe is looking to the future. And the nail is too, whereas this one, the toes kind of looking to the future. Future looking is to the little toes, but your toenail here is like, no, I'm going to look a little bit to the past. So identifying what are you hoping for in the future and what are you either stuck in or nostalgic for in the past. And so to massage this toe, I recommend stabilizing the toe in this area here while gently, a gentle twist and push to open this up a little bit more and make this go straight. Same with the spirit path. So where are you in your spiritual life? What does your spiritual path look like? What are you here? What are you here to bring about spiritually? Scorpio is a very spiritual and intuitive sign. And with all that Scorpio energy, doing the same motion here to open this up because this is your channel of intuition. So if this toe were to track straighter, not only would your spirit path be more aligned, but you would receive deeper intuition. So you are an action taker. Taking this action is important and you will do it, especially when you have people that are looking to you to do it, when you have a capability partner, when you have a class to teach and there's people waiting for you. You are definitely great at taking that action. You've got this little point on this toe and you're going to take that action. There's a space here between these toes, which has to do with all the things here where the way that you take action for yourself is not aligned with what you're saying and expressing to yourself. So gently pushing these two toes together to create a little bit more alignment because you do have a high connection point on both of these toes. And so this is, you've got to walk your walk and talk your talk. So what are you saying, especially to yourself, that you're then not doing or following through on? How are you at following through on commitments to yourself? This is an area that can be improved. And so gently pushing these toes together while you are in the same session is gently inviting this energy to track more straight. Let's see where your Mars is in your chart. It's in your first house. So the way that you take action, one, needs to be structured and whole, like is a part of a daily routine. And I invite you to make this toe massage part of your daily routine. You're going to get a lot of fulfillment from that, and it's going to help you in your life path and in fulfilling your destiny. It's also going to help you in your spirit path, especially if you incorporate a spiritual practice of meditation, of doing a card reading, or some kind of spiritual practice that will feed your soul, really feed your soul. And then gently pushing these two toes together, because Virgo, which is where your Mars is, really desires wholeness. And this is how people experience you. They experience you as bringing wholeness to them. And this includes in their spiritual life. And so making sure that your spiritual life is aligned with you as part of your seeking wholeness and this deep transformation, and creating safe space for yourself within the collective. These are things that are going to be very, very valuable for you. Next, let's look here at your relationship toes. So your relationship toes, they're very, very, very cozy with your action toes. And so the question that I have for you, and the question I'd invite you to ask yourself is, how do you do your relationships? And how is that different than your being in relationships? Are there things you do in relationship that don't align? And in relationships, we consistently do things that maybe we don't love, or maybe, they're not our, what we wake up and gets us out of bed, but we do that because we love in the relationship. And we know that's important for the people with whom we are in the relationship. And there's also when we're self-sacrificing to our own detriment. There's also when we are in like a victim or martyr type of mentality. And the difference between those is a victim is, oh, poor me. And a martyr is more like, oh, why me? So martyr energy is definitely more of what I'm feeling from these relationship toes, which is kind of that feeling of, oh, I did all this stuff for you, and then I just get crumbs. Or, sometimes how that can show up in our parenting is, I've done all this stuff for you, and then you can't even support me in this thing that I want to do. So just being aware of where that victim and martyr energy might be. And again, the question is, are you being in your relationships, or are you doing your relationships? It's very important that you be in your relationships. And this includes in the relationship with yourself. These trust and prosperity toes, next to these long communication toes, your trust and prosperity toes are the ones that stood out the most to me. There is a lot of blocked energy in those toes, and you may have even broken these toes at some point. These toes could really use some love. Perhaps you've trusted when you shouldn't have trusted. Or are you very guarded now? Are you jaded, and so you're guarded in the way that or do you have the feeling of, interestingly, I'm feeling some tension up here in my neck, and this is not mine. So how does your neck and shoulders feel? Are you carrying its burdens? You're carrying so many burdens. So what are these burdens? What do they look like? And is it time for you to stop carrying them, especially if they're not yours? Have you trusted people and carried their burdens, but then they have shown that they don't value your trust or your way of doing things to make things easier for them? You're just carrying so many burdens. So I really recommend going and getting a massage. And as that massage therapist is massaging your shoulders, you're releasing the burdens that are not yours to carry. This is martyr energy. A martyr carries burdens that may not be theirs to carry in the hope of some kind of a reward. And I think that you have been shown in your life that you're not getting the reward for carrying these burdens. So it's time to stop that and release Release this energy from this toe and ask, who can I trust? Who are the people that I can trust? And who are the people that I continue to trust or continue to let them be in the trusting spaces of my heart when they've shown that that is not the place that they belong? Additionally, when it comes to prosperity, you've also got quite a bit of blocked energy in here. So I really recommend that you massage these toes, these trust and prosperity toes, and just asking, do you trust yourself to bring in prosperity? Define prosperity for yourself. What does prosperity look like? Is it health? Is it money? Is it opportunity? Is it relationships? And of course, it can be a combination of these, but getting very clear on what does prosperity look like for you, and then finding it in your current circumstances and trusting that it's also going to flow to you as you become more clear, as you love yourself more, as you feel a deeper sense of worthiness. And part of this will come as you honor yourself, keep commitments to yourself, take action for yourself, and learn to trust yourself. Truly, if you can work through some of this energy in this toe, particularly the communication toe on the right side, so expressing yourself, and you work on these trust and prosperity toes, all of the toes are going to align, which means all of the energies align. This isn't about toes or aesthetics. This is about the energies that they're representing within that. So I really invite you to do those things. Let's look at your chart again and just see if there's anything else that's showing up. You do need to own your own business. That is where fortune is going to come to you. You're also here to release delusions of the past lives, generational, release those delusions. This is part of your message in talking about the hard things, the dark things, the things that, here it is. What has been the biggest source of shame for you in your life? I invite you to shine a light on that. That's what you're here to communicate. That's where your superpower is identifying where are the points of shame in your life, shining a light on that, and then communicating and expressing to others, because that will allow them to release their shame. Please let me know if you have any questions. It's truly been an honor to read your toes. You are a very powerful human.